In this video, we're going to be having introduction to Python programming. So Python is one of the programming language that we use in communicating with the computer, in which program structure are being written and being interpreted or converted to a language that the computer understands, then processed and give us the expected output. So Python as a programming language is a very simple language with a very clear syntax and close to human language because of its syntax and keywords that are being used in communicating. So while running Python, you have to first install it on your operating system or you use Python online. So one of the challenge of getting started with Python is that you may have to install Python and related software on your computer. That's if you are familiar with operating system, or you can just decide to use Python online. So otherwise you can use Python anywhere following this link to run your Python program. But for me, how do we work on Python from our local system? Once you have Python downloaded, the link to download Python will be provided in the description. Once you have Python downloaded, then you can begin to work with Python. There are two versions of Python, which are Python 2 and Python 3. These are very similar, so if you learn one, it is easy to switch to the other. But what we are going to be working on in this series is Python 3, though I'll be making reference to Python 2, but I won't be going into much details about that because Python 3 is the version that we use currently. So those codes that we write in Python will be converted by an interpreter to the code that the computer understand, which is 1 and 0. That is a bit. So the Python interpreter is the one that is being used to read our code and execute this code, convert it to the language that the computer understand, and in the click of an eye it gives us the output we are expecting. So the Python interpreter is a program that read and executes Python depending on the environment. How do we start a Python interpreter? We can do it in various ways. Looking at a command line. Command line, I can activate that by coming to this point, then typing cmd, then I go to my command prompt. This will give me the shell. It will open this my command prompt in which I can work with Python from anywhere. So that is how to activate this command prompt. So let us now look at working with Python. We can do that by typing Python in the command prompt. Then it will give us these informations, and also look at this theory anchor bracket. So now let us look at what this thing means line by line. The first three lines contain information about the interpreter and also operating system it's running. So it might be different for you. In my own case, it's different. But you should check that the version number, which is 3 points, in this means we are working with Python 3, which indicates that we are working with Python 3. If it begins with 2, it means we are working with Python 2. Yes, and the last line is a prompt that indicates that the interpreter, like I said, that is the code that will be interpreting our program to the computer for computation. So the interpreter, it means the interpreter is ready for me to enter my code. So if you type a line of code and it entered, the interpreter displays the result. So that is about the work of the interpreter. So now let's get started by looking at a simple program. So I have my command prompt open there, and I already switched to my folder that I'll be using, which I'm working in my desktop folder. So now how do I activate the interpreter? I activate the interpreter by typing Python in lowercase, then press enter. Then the information about the Python I'm using and my Python interpreter will be displayed to the screen here. So Now looking at this Python 3.11, that is the version of Python that I'm using currently, and these are the information that are related to my own operating system. Then this third line is just an indication for me to know that Python is ready for me to use, and I can put in any computation such as 1 plus 2, which will give 3, as you can see on the screen here. So that is the simple computation that we can do using Python. I can also have 5 multiplied by 8, which will give 40. I can also have 50 subtract 16, then this will give 34 as my result. So now let's go back to what we are looking at initially. What we're looking at initially is writing our first program, because what I basically do here is just to give the computer a simple mathematical instruction to add two numbers, to multiply and to subtract. But let us do something actually with Python. Traditionally, the first program that most people write in learning any programming language is the word hello world that will be output, and this will be displayed on the screen. So let's display the word hello world in Python. To display this, we use a function as what print, then in parentheses we put in hello in quotes. Why we use quotes here, we explained later on. So printing of the word, the string hello world in quote will be written this way. So now let us go back to our terminal and work with that. I use the keyword print, then in parentheses and in quotes I say hello, then world. I close my parentheses, my quote, and also my parentheses. This is basic syntax writing this program. Like I said, formal language means what they actually say. This is saying print, and what am I trying to print to the screen? I'm trying to print the string, that is the word hello world, to the screen. By pressing enter, I can see that the word hello world has been printed to the screen, which is what I expected to receive. That's about our first program there. So the quotation in the program marks the beginning and end of the text to be displayed if they don't appear in the result. So the parenthesis indicates that print is a function. We will get to function in other chapter. So when we are looking about when we are looking about these two Python versions, which is Python 2 and Python 3, there are some variation in them, such as in Python 2 the print statement is slightly different. There it is not a function, so it doesn't use parentheses, and Python 2 we only just say print, then put in the string we are trying to print, passing it to the print. So in Python 2 this print is just such as a keyword using passing information, whereas in Python 3 we use print then parentheses. So this is the basic structure and difference to 3. So that is about writing our first program in Python. You can look at other things in Python in the next video.